I stare at the doll, my hands trembling, heart pounding so hard I can hear it in my ears. It's sitting on the mantel, exactly where I left it, but now it has a smile, a sinister, knowing smile that wasn't there before. My skin crawls with a fear so intense it feels like ice running through my veins. The room is deathly silent, save for my ragged breathing. I can't take my eyes off the doll, its lifeless eyes boring into mine. Then, slowly, it begins to move. The doll's head tilts to the side, the smile widening. I stumble backward, crashing into the coffee table and sending a lamp crashing to the floor. The lights flicker, casting eerie shadows that seem to dance around the room. I need to get out of here. I need to escape. But my legs feel like lead, and the doll is now standing, its tiny feet making soft thuds against the wooden mantel as it walks towards me. It all started innocently enough, like most terrifying things do. My name is Rachel, and I've always had a fascination with antiques. There's something captivating about holding a piece of history in your hands, imagining the stories it could tell. That's how I found myself at a quaint little antique shop on the outskirts of town one sunny Saturday afternoon. The shop was a treasure trove of curiosities, each item with its own unique charm. As I wandered through the aisles, a particular item caught my eye, a doll. It was an old porcelain doll, its dress faded but once exquisite, its face delicately painted with an expression of innocence. Something about it drew me in. "Ah, you found her," the shopkeeper said, his voice gravelly with age. He appeared beside me, his eyes twinkling with a strange light. "She's beautiful," I murmured, picking up the doll. It was heavier than it looked, and cold to the touch. "She's been here for as long as I can remember," he continued. "No one's ever shown much interest in her. Would you like to take her home?" I hesitated for a moment. There was something unsettling about the doll, something I couldn't quite put my finger on. But my love for antiques overruled my unease. "Yes, I think I would." The shopkeeper's smile widened, and I could have sworn there was something almost relieved in his expression. "Excellent choice. She's yours for a bargain." I brought the doll home and placed it on the mantel in my living room. It seemed to belong there, like it had always been a part of my home. That night, as I settled into bed, I felt a strange sense of satisfaction. The doll was a beautiful addition to my collection, and I was eager to show it off to my friends. I woke up in the middle of the night to an odd sensation, a feeling of being watched. The room was dark, the only light coming from the street lamp outside my window. I shrugged off the feeling as my imagination running wild and went back to sleep. The next morning, I went about my routine, but something felt off. The house seemed colder, and there was an oppressive atmosphere that hadn't been there before. I shrugged it off as leftover nerves from the night before and focused on my work. In the afternoon, I invited my friend, Lisa, over for coffee. She was the first person I wanted to show the doll to. When she arrived, we chatted for a bit before I led her to the living room. "Look at this," I said, gesturing to the mantel. But as I turned, I froze. The doll wasn't there. I swear I put it right here." Lisa raised an eyebrow. "Are you sure you didn't move it?" "No, I'm positive. I left it right there." I began searching the room, my heart pounding. Finally, I found the doll sitting on the windowsill, facing outwards. A chill ran down my spine. Lisa laughed nervously. "Maybe you're just tired. You did say you didn't sleep well last night." "Yeah, maybe," I said, but deep down, I knew something wasn't right. I placed the doll back on the mantel and tried to ignore the gnawing fear in my gut. That night, I dreamt of the doll. In my dream, it was alive, its tiny hands reaching out to me, its eyes filled with malice. I woke up in a cold sweat, the feeling of being watched stronger than ever. I glanced at the clock, 3 a.m. The house was eerily quiet. I got up to get a glass of water, trying to shake off the nightmare. As I walked past the living room, I glanced at the mantel. The doll was gone again. My heart raced as I searched the room. I found it on the coffee table, sitting upright, its head turned to face me. I backed away slowly, my mind reeling. This couldn't be happening. Dolls don't move on their own. I was sure I was just sleepwalking or something. I put the doll back on the mantel, but this time, I locked it in a glass cabinet. The next day, I couldn't shake the feeling of unease. I went about my day, trying to focus on work, but my mind kept drifting back to the doll. I decided to do some research, hoping to find some rational explanation for what was happening. I spent hours online, reading about haunted dolls and paranormal phenomena. Most of it seemed like nonsense, but the more I read, the more unsettled I became. Stories of dolls moving on their own, causing harm to their owners, and even possessing people filled my mind. I tried to tell myself it was just fiction, but the nagging fear wouldn't go away. That evening, I called Lisa. "Hey, can you come over? I need to talk to you about something." She arrived an hour later, and I told her everything. To my relief, she took me seriously. "This sounds really creepy, Rachel," she said. "Maybe you should get rid of the doll." I thought about that, but I feel connected to it, somehow. I can't explain it. Lisa looked at me, her expression worried. "Just be careful, okay? If anything else happens, promise me you'll get rid of it." "I promise," I said, though I wasn't sure I meant it. I slept fitfully that night, haunted by dreams of the doll. I woke up several times, each time feeling like I was being watched. Finally, I couldn't take it anymore. I got up and went to the living room. The glass cabinet was open, and the doll was gone. Panic surged through me. I searched the house frantically, my heart racing. I found the doll in the kitchen, sitting on the counter. Its eyes seemed to follow me as I approached. I grabbed it and shoved it back into the cabinet, locking it securely. I couldn't deny it anymore. Something was very wrong with this doll. I decided then and there that I would get rid of it the next day. The next morning, I woke up feeling a strange sense of calm. I was determined to get rid of the doll once and for all. I called Lisa and told her my plan. "Good," she said. "I'll come over and help you." When she arrived, we put the doll in a box and drove to the nearest donation center. I handed it over to the clerk, feeling a weight lift off my shoulders. "That should be the end of it," I said as we drove away. But deep down, I wasn't sure. Back in my house, I felt a sense of relief. The doll was gone, and I could finally move on. I tried to enjoy the rest of my day, but the feeling of unease lingered. That night, as I was getting ready for bed, I heard a noise from the living room. My blood ran cold. It was the sound of something small and heavy hitting the floor. I grabbed a flashlight and slowly made my way to the living room. The box was sitting on the coffee table, open. The doll was back, its eyes fixed on me, that sinister smile stretching across its face. I don't know how it got back, but I knew I couldn't stay here. I grabbed my keys and ran out of the house, not stopping until I was in my car. I drove to Lisa's place, my hands shaking. When she opened the door, I could see the concern in her eyes. "Rachel, what's wrong?" "It's back," I whispered, feeling tears well up. "The doll is back." Lisa didn't hesitate. "Come in. We'll figure this out." Over the next few days, we tried everything to get rid of the doll. We burned it, buried it, even tried to take it to a priest. But no matter what we did, it always came back, always with that same malevolent smile. We're at our wits' end now. I'm staying with Lisa, but we both know it's only a matter of time before the doll finds its way here. I can feel it watching, waiting. I don't know what it wants or why it chose me, but I do know one thing: I'll never be free of it. If you're reading this, please, be careful. There are things in this world we don't understand, things that defy explanation. And sometimes, those things come in the most innocent of forms. As I sit here, writing this, I can hear the soft thud of tiny feet moving across the floor. It's here. I don't know how much longer I have, but I had to warn you. Beware the doll.